I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. A few months ago, this very channel featured a video titled, "Uber and Lyft drivers are not medical transports or ambulances." And that has come to a head. What up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim with another ride sharing video. This one comes out of the state of Colorado. Apparently, a Uber driver received a trip request from a disabled passenger and felt uncomfortable doing the trip and stopped the vehicle and told the passenger to get out of the car. Now, the passenger requested the ride, there's a lot to unpack here, through RTD out in Colorado. RTD stands for Regional Transportation Districts. This is an Access a Ride program where the ride is paid for by this third party up to $25 the ride. So Uber has partnered with this RTD entity to have us drivers pick folks up. Well, there is a huge catch to this. Now, obviously, the driver put the passenger out of the car, suggesting that they felt uncomfortable. According to the story, the passenger was obviously distressed, ended up having to call his dad to come pick him up, walked into some donut shop, apparently that was near where he was put out of the car, and they found out what happened to him on his Uber ride, and they treated him really kindly and helped him get his dad. But point is, this person was not a full functioning adult to even get himself out of the situation. Now, here's what has come out. According to the passenger, the driver just stopped the car and said, "Get out." They told Uber they felt uncomfortable with this passenger. Well, you know what ended up happening? It led to the discovery that Uber has not told its drivers anything about RTD, this regional transportation program, and has not let its drivers know, is not letting them know when they receive trips, you may be picking up a disabled passenger. That information did not come out until this passenger, who was kicked out of the car, told his dad, and his dad filed a complaint. And apparently that information was finally released that, Uber is not even telling these drivers what they are picking up. In my humble opinion, that dad should sue. Now, the father, according to the news article, was stating that, anything could have happened to my son with this woman just putting him out of the car. Now, Uber responded by suggesting that what the driver did is totally unacceptable. Listen to this language. Kicking him out is not only unacceptable, they claim, according to their community guidelines, drivers are prohibited from denying service to those with disabilities, and they followed up by saying, "We will take appropriate action." You already know what that means. They're going to fire the driver. They're going to fire the woman who put out the passenger with disabilities. In my opinion, Uber should be dealing with dual lawsuits. The parent of the disabled passenger should certainly sue Uber for her, for her putting them out of the vehicle, or whatever the case may be, for the simple reason she didn't know. Listen, folks with disabilities, I'm not here to criticize folks with disabilities, but they do things that might not be normal. I mean, if you pick up a regular person and they're back there grinding their teeth or clicking or drooling all over something, or whatever disability they may have, if you're not warned ahead of time, you might think they're drunk, inebriated, high on something. For Uber not to give some sort of warning to the drivers that they're picking up disabled folks, that should be on Uber. Uber should be liable for that, because that is what led this guy to getting kicked out of the car. Now, also, the driver should also have a lawsuit against Uber if they remove her from the app based on this. And because, once again, the driver did not know the passenger is disabled. And in accordance to their community guidelines suggesting that you're prohibited from denying rides to disabled passengers or passengers with disabilities, how the hell can you enforce that? We have drivers that have disabilities. If you get a passenger that needs assistance opening up a wheelchair or unfolding a walker or something like that, What do you do if the driver also has a wheelchair in the back of the trunk or a walker in the trunk? You're going to make the disabled driver help the disabled passenger? There is no rule prohibiting us from becoming Uber or Lyft drivers with disabilities. So it is obvious where the wrong is being done here. And that is, the driver should know before picking up passengers that this passenger is disabled, that this passenger may need some assistance, or this passenger may be doing something wrong. In this case, because the driver stated she felt uncomfortable, I'm going to assume, and it's not mentioned in the article, I'm going to assume that the passenger was maybe making weird noises or shifting around in the vehicle or doing something that is not like what a typical passenger would do. And because she wasn't advised that the passenger is disabled, she put him out. How the hell are we as drivers supposed to just be mind readers and know what the hell they are sending us? Now, this passenger claims they have requested rides with Uber over 100 times. What do you think are the chances that any of those previous drivers were advised he was disabled either? There may be other drivers that took him from point A to point B and felt uncomfortable the whole time, maybe rushed, speeding, violating moving violations just to get him the hell out of their car. Uber should be ashamed of itself for not telling drivers ahead of time, you are going to pick up a disabled rider. Now, we all know why they are not telling drivers this. And according to the article, the father that filed the complaint to Uber against the driver stated that we would hope that in the future, Uber lets its drivers know that they are picking up passengers with disabilities. He made it clear the son will stay with the RTD program and continue doing this. Well, we all know why Uber is not advising drivers that they're going to pick up disabled passengers. We don't make any extra money by doing it. This is likely to be extra work, or at the very least tolerating something you normally do not tolerate for zero gain. In addition to not gaining any money by picking up a disabled person, because it is going through this regional transportation district program, there is zero opportunity for tips. This program, by picking up anyone from this program, there is an essential guarantee that you will not be tipped. The reason Uber is not telling drivers they're picking these folks up is because there is zero incentive for drivers to go get them. And they know that if drivers know this, the amount of these folks being picked up will drop drastically. And that will put them on the hook with the program to begin with. Because the program has been promised by Uber, we will send folks to pick your people up. If all of a sudden the acceptance rate for these people drops down into the single damn digits, well, then they may decide to use a different way of shuttling their people around. Now understand, Uber is obviously getting something from this company to make that promise. None of that is being passed on to the passenger. I'm saying that without any proof or verification of it, but we all know what Uber and Lyft does. If Uber made a deal with this regional transportation company and did not even advise the drivers that they're picking up people from this regional transportation company, it's safe to assume they're not giving them any of the money from this regional transportation company. So they're never going to tell the driver what the hell they're going to pick up, because they know the driver has no incentive to participate in something they're getting zero gain from. So unfortunately, this father that is upset that his child got left by the side of the road, I don't know how old a passenger is, by the way, but he is disabled. But it is his child. So I don't know if there's going to be any avenue where the father is going to be satisfied, because Uber is not going to want to tell its drivers that they're picking up these folks because they don't want to pay us to do it. So this father is going to spin the roulette wheel and put his child in future vehicles and just simply pray and hope this doesn't happen again. Unfortunately, like I stated, the female driver that they're claiming her actions were unacceptable, they're going to fire her. We know it. We already know what's going to happen. They didn't tell her, and they're going to fire her, and chances are anybody else that speaks up against being surprised with disabled passengers, they're going to threaten them as well. This is what Uber and Lyft does. This is what they do, and this is a damn shame. What about you folks, my veteran drivers, before I close this damn video, because this really pisses me off. But I talked about this before when we heard that they were starting to do this shit, using us as medical transports and, you know, shuttling around disabled folks. Now, this guy sounded like he was able to physically walk in and out of the car, but when you're picking up disabled people and you have no clue what the hell you're picking up, you don't know what condition they're in. So to tell a driver, well, you're prohibited from denying them a ride, what the hell is that? Why not just pair them with drivers that are willing to do it? Because they know there's very few drivers that would be willing to do it. Have you picked up a disabled passenger that you believe is from some sort of program that Uber is, you know, partnering with in your area? Have you seen anything like this in your area? Just want to ask that to verify if drivers are getting any sort of kickback. There is no reason for Uber or Lyft to partner with any program if they're not getting anything out of it. So if Uber or Lyft is partnering with some type of hospital or clinic in your area, you can rest assured they are getting something out of it. And like I just stated before, there is no reason for us drivers to partner with some sort of hospital, clinic, or program if we are not getting anything out of it. So they realize that. And the best way to get around that is to simply not tell you you are part of the partnership. So let me know if this is in your area. Catch you in the comments. As always, subscribe to the damn channel. But this one pissed me off. Catch you in the next video.